Many thanks for staying tuned. It's still the Friday edition of The Conversation here on Lagos Television. Before we went on that break, I did tell you that today's conversation will be one with a difference. Because our guest this morning, she's not only a mental health advocate, she's also in our industry. So this morning, it's going to be a chitty-chatty. But then, of course, on a very serious note, Oluwatomishi Oladapo Kuku is here today. We'll be speaking with her as a mental health advocate, but look at her like a radio personality on the program today. Tomishi, good morning.
Hey, good morning, ladies. Yeah, it's going to be back.
I know.
It's going to be back. You guys are making me love TV. I would always be a radio girl, but hey, TV, yeah.
Is the new norm.
Oh, no.
That's always been the norm anyway.
Are you sure about that?
Okay, now before we went on that break, Abimbola, while she was doing the introduction of today's topic, said something about men not crying. Now, I want to say it in pidgin for emphasis. Now, we believe in this part of the world that African man, no, they cry. Do you believe that?
All right, so first things first, I don't think it's only African. It's only that we are evolving slowly. The whole thing about a man not being in tune with their emotions is not majorly African. It's global.
It's just a man thing.
It's global because men have been conditioned. We've been conditioned to believe that men are supposed to be in a certain way. They're supposed to provide. They're supposed to do this. They're supposed to do that. So over the years, and evolution, this is where I sit with evolution and I enjoy evolution. Evolution is a beautiful thing. Over the years, we have moved from partnership with ourselves, the gender, human partnership, to segregation, and then the debates coming. So men do cry. Come on, if you read any of the ancient literatures, from Greek literature to Roman literature to Saul cries. If Saul cries, if you read Beowulf, you will see that the men there. Even Jesus cried. And I was trying to hear. Yes, the shortest verse in the Bible. There is nowhere in history. There's no way in history, if you're a student of history, that men are not allowed to be in tune with their emotions.
So, I mean, you've laid the foundation. So, how did we get to that point where we've just been conditioned to believe that because of pressure, because of our nature, and then perhaps because we see the man as the head of the family, it is okay to suppress their emotions?
See this question when you're asking me so there's no answer. Do you understand? There's no answer because different culture, different myths will tell you how we started. Some people will tell you that, oh, the women were the strongest because we had Amazons. Some people will tell you that, do you understand? And then of course the story of the woman king going on and all that. Women are stronger than the men. So I will say this, because a man, most of the myths, creation myths from the Bible, from the Quran, from Sikhism, from Hinduism, from everywhere, most of these myths say that the man, was first created. I'm not arguing you. So, and that's okay. But that puts a natural order in place. And then because we have gotten to a place where, again, evolution, men now think, okay, because I'm supposed to be in this space, I'm supposed to be the one protecting, and that is fine, but your emotions do matter because that's why we have a lot of father wounds around. We have a lot of father wounds around. We have a lot of people saying, because all of us here, if we say we should do this, like this, what your father did to you, what your father did, what your father did, he was not there. That's the first thing you will say. Oh, he provided. And people ask why there are many songs for mothers and that none for fathers.
Very few for fathers.
Very few for fathers. And that's because we have been conditioned by the world that men are not supposed to be in tune with their emotion. And that is wrong. And that is wrong. That is my That is my campaign. It is wrong.
So I want us to take a look at mental health issues, especially as it relates
To
men.
men.
How deep has it eaten into the fabrics
Deep.
of the Nigerian society?
Deep. 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 And you just struck a deep chord for me there. Very deep. Very, very deep. Okay, you know September is the Suicide Awareness Month,
Yeah.
and
This
September is
September
10th.
is almost gone, but this September is a whole
Whole
lot
lot
of awareness month. Yeah.
You know. Now, September alone, that I know of personally, 2 men committed suicide
Oh.
In Lagos?
in Lagos. That I know personally. And I dare say that most of the, after a brief illness,
Yeah. Okay.
is suicide.
Wow.
And like I said, you struck, you should use that question, you will get the answer. And there is an adage in Yoruba that says, Ikuya ju esin lo. A man which society has already said, if you don't provide, you're not a good man. If you don't do this, you're not a good man. If your business fails, you're not man enough. And has that kind of an adage.
So he would rather
He would rather
misuse that option.
than live with the shame.
Shame.
It's right, I think, I know that shame breeds and feeds suicide more. Now, to answer your question, I don't know the actual statistics in Nigeria, but WHO says that 100 of 100 we have in a year. Sorry, in a minute, or in a minute, that's 90 seconds, 90 minutes, whatever, a minute and a half.
Okay.
Yes.
We have about, in 100, we have 2.5 people commit suicide.
world over.
No, this is
Where?
Nigeria.
In Nigeria.
This is Nigeria. In Europe, the UK, every 90 minutes, a man dies of suicide. Of this one person that succeeded, 25 attempts.
Were made, and then
Men between the ages of 35 and 45.
so there's an
It's a
age group.
serious issue. that we are
Between the
dealing
ages of 35 and 45, what that tells you is that active men, people who are working, people who have family, people who think they should be having families, people who think that they should be. So, yeah,
The pressure
the pressure.
it is.
It is
too
not
much.
easy. I'm sorry, ladies, but it's not easy to be a man.
Are we a contributing factor?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Women, we are contributing to
okay, so
that.
if your husband started to cry now, what would be your response?
I will wait.
I'll give you a moment to think about
I
that.
will wait a minute.
I'm
and
sure. I
wonder what's
don't
going
know.
on.
I'm thinking.
We want our men to be vulnerable, but
But
can
we
we
can't
take
take
it?
That's
We can't take
true.
it.
Can we take it?
That's true.
Can we take it?
So, I mean,
I'm sorry, guys.
yes, conversations are
Yes.
needed.
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
again, sometimes we are quick to judge.
Yeah.
And then we also do not realize that we're part of the problems. So, I mean, we've identified that sometimes as women, we are also our cases.
So let me balance this.
But before,
Yeah.
I was just coming to the facts that is this also a function of how our boys were raised? I'm the mother of boys, so let me start retracing my steps.
I also have a boy, so I'm wondering.
I have a boy too.
So,
thinking
is this
now.
a function of how our boys were raised? Because again, if you can't talk about this without talking about
Parenting,
culture, parenting, peer pressure, school, the environment.
In fact, the society
the
in
society
general.
at large. But then it always starts from the home.
Thank you very much for that
So-
question, Olotu. Okay, so I have a son. I'm an only girl. I have 2 brothers. I have a husband. My son is 13. Apologies, guy. You're going to watch it later, but I'm going to use him. And I'm sure he's tired of it. He's just, I'm your guinea pig.
I mean, your case
Yeah.
study.
But he is an SS1. So during the long GS3 break, we're having a conversation. And then he's telling me about something in class. A girl was pushing at a boy. The girl was obviously offensive, but everybody was shouting, no, don't touch her, he's a girl, he's a girl. And my son said, Mom, I don't have a problem with girl empowerment and, you know, teaching girls how to fight and all of that. I said, okay, where, because it's that way. So where are you going with it? He said, the question is, everybody is teaching the girl how to fight. Who is teaching the boy how not to start the war? He did not say how not to fight. He said how not to start the war. And I'm like, okay, why did you say fight? And he said, because a man would naturally want to fight.
Mm-hmm. So how the fight will not get to war?
So, no, the war is inside already. The war is inside already.
I get
So who is teaching? Who is giving
not to start
the war at all? So who is giving us tools to feel? Who is giving us tools how to label our emotions appropriately? Who is giving us tools on how to manage and change those emotions? Who is giving us tools? And I'm like, I'm sorry, son. You know, but that's the thing. Again, let's go back home. If a girl child falls down, the possibility that everybody goes, oh,
yeah,
and a boy child falls down, the possibility like, okorini. So what are you telling that child inadvertently?
So our culture really has a role to play in all these things.
Well, we have told that child, your pain does not matter. We have told that child, your failure doesn't matter. We have told that child that your failure defines you. That is what you say to your son when you say, don't cry. What you say to your son when your son comes to you and says that somebody did this to me, and you say, or you're a man, you have told that child that his emotion is not valid. You have told that child that whatever it is that he's feeling is not valid, and you have inadvertently shut him up. So is this a surprise that we have marriages where men are using silent treatment as punishment, when men go out and then go? Is it a surprise? That's how they were raised.
Okay, now let's talk about financial stress. That's another major issue that we are dealing with in Nigeria now. How does it affect the men and their mental health?
How does it affect you?
Even me as a woman, I'm complaining. So the man who is the supposed provider. And then we have cases of men that cannot even provide for their family. Let's talk about financial stress now. And how it affects the mental health of men.
If you're feeling financial
Nigeria
stress at 45%, a man is feeling at 150. If you're feeling it at 50%, a man is feeling at 200. Because we can't take it away. It's the way nature has created them. We can't take it. They will, irresponsible man. Now, I'm very careful with the term responsible. You know why? A man, a responsible man also, because of the fear or the feeling of him not feeling that he is doing the things he's supposed to do, then begins to move to the left. Do you understand what I just said? Okay, I'm supposed to, Bims, I'm supposed to, I'm your husband right now. I know that I'm supposed to give you 10,000 naira. It will not buy anything, but I'm supposed to give you 10,000 naira. And then I could only come up with 5,000 naira. He's not even looking at whether Beams, depending on their relationships, and then he's like, Kaka, if I give you half this 5,000 naira, this is what is going on in his head. Am I man enough? Okay. That is what is going on in his head. Am I man enough? So instead of Kukuma giving her that 5,000 naira, let me go drink.
Keep it.
Drink,
Let me go drink.
And then when I come back, I'll go and sleep.
Or face her.
Or face her.
I don't have, and then they fight.
So that's why I said I'm very careful about the term responsible, because a responsible man could be responding to his sense, what he has identified himself by negatively. And a responsible man could also be responding to that by saying, okay, I have 10,000 naira, I have 10,000 naira, okay, I'll give you 9,000, let me keep 1,000. All right? So here is where I have a problem. Mothers, stop telling your sons, "Obìnrin, owó nìkan ló fẹ́."
Right.
You're right.
Fathers, stop telling your sons, all a woman wants from you
Is your money.
Is your money. Because you have conditioned that child
To believe.
to believe that
Okay.
his worth is in what he provides. And then we do not work on the relationship. We don't work on the other things that come with a relationship.
Valid point you just raised here, and I'm glad you took the conversation there, because I was going to ask you, while you were using that analogy that, you know what, I'm supposed to give you 10,000 but I have 5, and then you said something that struck me. Depending on the kind of relationship you have, meaning that this also largely depends on how you're able to communicate with your spouse.
Yeah.
So the power of communication is also very strong here.
It cannot be, and that is why I carry a huge weight for men. I'm a woman, but I carry a huge weight for men, because even though we women don't know how to communicate, well, it is even worse for a man. And a man whose mother shouted at him has a wife whose response sequence is also shouting. What do you think is going to happen to that man?
He's going to shut up.
He's going to shut down. A man whose mother used to mistreat his dad. Yes, you heard me. Whose mother? Yes, because he's
That's
not
what
only
he
this way.
grew up to know.
It's not only men that women
course.
too do.
Yes.
Whose mother used to mistreat his dad? He gets married. What do you think he's going to go in with?
Of course, definitely.
He's going to be
Defensive,
guarded.
and-
He's going to be
Yes.
defensive.
Yes.
So even if this woman is coming from a place of peace, and just jokingly, and I'll give you an example. I come from a pretty violent background, and I used to tell my spouse, partner, whatever that we use now, because this days you have to be very careful. Anyway, my husband. Call it as it is. Husband. Thank you for the information. All right. When we were dating, and I come from a very, and I used to tell him, I can take anything. I can take anything, but don't use style and beat me. You know? And we were in a midst of friends someday, and it was just a joke. And I swear, it was just like we're laughing and then
Hey.
well, like Otutu. You know? My friend went, Tumshe, no. And on that, this is way before I became a mental health coach. And I knew then that my response sequence. So imagine him, and he's like, "Oh God, we're playing." I said, "Don't use beat and play. Don't use beat and play with me." So these are conversations that we must have. These are conversations we must have, because people think when you hear mental health, you're hearing mental ill health. They are
They're
two
different
things.
Yes.
Mental health is you complete, a whole of you. You understanding how you relate with yourself. Because if you understand how you relate to yourself, you'll be able to understand how you to relate with others.
Time is fast spent, and if we don't talk about paths to healing before you leave, it's going to be exercise in futility. Now, men must also realize there is a problem before you want to find help. How easy is it for a man to admit that there is a problem?
Not easy. It's not easy because that's how they were raised, But that's one thing I'll say to men. That you are a man does not mean that you don't matter. That you are a man does not mean your voice should be silenced. And this, I think, is the most important. In the face of patriarchy, feminism, that patriarchy has lasted this long does not mean that men have not been abused.
Sure, sure.
And if we're not careful, we will have matriarchy like patriarchy. Now, the path to healing first is for you to know and understand that you have to build a tribe. trust your tribe. And I'm not talking at the bottom of a bottle. I'm talking about you having wholesome conversation. One of the videos I'm using these days to push this message, guys were asked to call their pals, their male pals, and say, I love you. And and all. In fact, one person, one call said, "Guy, are you okay? Where are you? Are you
Are you
on
sure
the
you're
brink of
right.
suicide?" No, I'm okay. I just wanted to tell you I love you.
So a guy can't even tell a guy I love you.
Because you see it as
Because it's as a weakness.
Yes, you're soft.
So-
you're being soft.
What shame is to a man is he has weakness. When you say shame, when you say a man can, all he hears is weakness. So please, man, I appeal to you. Find yourself. When I say find yourself, play. Somebody asked me, what's the easiest way past the healing? And I said, play. And it was like, play? I said, yes, play. If I tell you, both of you, to go back to your childhood and remember something, you probably were playing.
Yeah.
Yes.
In the rain.
In my doll.
So why don't you, when the crowding thoughts come, why don't you go back and visit that child?
Wow. Okay.
Who is that child? Write yourself a letter. Write yourself, when you believe that you have, the age that you believe that you, so I'm going ballpark here, the age you thought that you went off tangent, write your letter to yourself at 25. Right? Even both of you do that. Write your letter to yourself at 25 and read back the letter. Look for, I play a lot, you know that. I'm extremely goofy because that's the only way I could have survived the things I've survived in my life. Story for another day. But I play a lot. But before I could find play, I needed to sit down with the soot, with the pain. So answer your story of origin. That question from your story of origin, how your father treated you, how your mother treated you. Answer these questions. Please find a tool to play. I'm not saying drink, but if that's your play, please make sure it is not, you're not over drinking. But look for something that makes you connect to the earth. Look for something, connection is important. Lastly, before we go, I was reading something about the Amen effect. This is a rabbi, she's a rabbi who wrote this, and then she said in the Jewish tradition, the older Jewish tradition, and they still do it, you get to this holy place after you've done your ablution. Yes, they do ablution in Judaism. After you've done your ablution, you're climbing into this Jewish holy place, and then everybody's going in. Everybody's going on right. Yeah? And then people who are in grief, people who are in pain, people who something is going on, turn to the left. Some people, when people notice we're going to, so the tradition is you turn from those at the right, now go left, go and sit down. What happened
To
to
comfort them or to speak with them.
the person, oh, I just lost my mom. And may the Lord bless you. May He say, you know, we cannot heal alone. You
Very
cannot.
true.
You trust financially, socially, emotionally, and everyly.
Mentally. This is every day.
Wow. Okay, I know the time is fast spent. We need to go.
Yeah.
But on a final note here, connect with your tribe is what you've preached this morning.
Yeah.
But a lot of people also find it difficult to speak out or to find somebody they can actually open up to. What's the best way out here for those who are actually in that moment where it's pretty difficult to trust anybody around them?
I can help you right now.
Ah, okay.
My name is Oluwatu Michelle Adapokuku. I live with bipolar affective disorder. What has that done to me? If they tell them and they go and microwave it, that is
That's their problem.
business. You have spoken, and it has told you that this person is not supposed to be in my tribe. The choice to love is a choice to hurt. You do not say that because you are afraid of hurting, you will love. That's like saying that you're afraid of going to the toilet because if you eat, you go to the toilet. You know, it is yin yang. It works together, all right? It's trial and error until you find your tribe. But don't say because they're going to talk about me. Don't say because they will talk about you anyway. Because all of you have done history of 1,000,001 places. So yes, they probably had their tribe before you. And then you create a connection and you'll start on the tribe. So when they into the old tribe, somebody is mad. They will talk. The choice to love. The choice to hurt. So embrace the love, embrace the hurt. Know that if you're loving, you're going to hurt. Know that if what's happening now, be ready for the bad. We're giving tools. We're giving tools to be happy. We're giving tools to be sad, to eat.
Okay. That's a very deep conversation. We just had a very deep conversation and I've learned a lot today. Okay, we talked about men now, but as a woman too, oh my God, I've learned a lot. It's a lot. I know how to handle my son better now. Yeah. Family trial.
You can help them, but because moments to the child. Any child, I forget. And man and woman, any to the child, don't choose us. You are invalidating them in a different way. When they say you didn't like it, you know.
So we shouldn't do the same.
As a parent, any parent listening, the rule of thumb, when people talk about do I do my child with that, the rule of thumb is whatever you're doing to the child, it was done to you at that age. Would you like it? Now, if it was done to you at that age, how do you prefer your parents handle it? Handle it with your child.
All right. Okay. Like I said, I can tell you about the
I think she has to come back.
She will be back here. But of course, I did tell you at the beginning of the program that, of course, to make our own circle, I told you that this conversation is one that you'll find very interesting. But you do want to connect with her. I'm going to this for her because she's one of us. And actually connect her on Instagram. And she has a podcast on this particular topic. I'm sure you will never find it boring to listen to her. Mindfully with Tumiche is a handle on Instagram. Thank you so much, Tumiche, for finding.
I'm following you immediately.
Powering me boss to the power in the university.
Thank you. Thank you very much for coming on the program.
Okay, and of course, as time permits, as soon again, we'll bring back Tumiche again to perhaps again refresh our viewers on her. You know, she said it stylishly. I live with bipolar disorder.
Yes, I do.
And of course, a lot of people that probably didn't watch her the first time she talked about that might want to have her revisit that conversation. So sometime soon, we'll bring you back on program.
I'm glad to speak about it.
All right, thank you so much for watching this side of the table today. We'll take a quick break. When we return, it'll be the turn of Joy and Adebimpe to take you through my community. And today, Ikorodu is in focus.
My town, Ikorodu. So Bimpe, enjoy. Enjoy.
Bukola, I asked you to join us.
I'm not joining.
She's not joining. Okay. We'll be back after the break.